Layers of Fear is a game that feels similar to many first-person horror games that have become very popular over the last few years. The game clearly takes inspiration from games like Kojima's PT and Outlast, with changing environments, creepy settings, and use of jump scares. This time around, you experience a journey through a creepy house in the mid-20th century owned by a painter who appears to have gone insane. With the increase of first-person walking simulator style horror games coming out, does this title offer anything unique or interesting? You take a tour of the unsettling house from a first-person perspective and play as an artist who is trying to finish his most important piece of work. I was immediately drawn to the world as it has an interesting setting and unsettling tone. I'm not normally a fan of these types of games, but I played PT and I was blown away by how much the game immersed me in that situation. Playing in first person makes you feel as though you're really experiencing every moment as you explore each and every part of that world. When you first stumble across the blank canvas for your painting, it soon becomes clear that over the course of the narrative you will slowly be uncovering the piece you're going to create. The game involves you slowly wandering around your house, which at first seems normal enough, although very dark and gloomy, but it slowly transpires that reality is being warped and the environment around you is literally changing. The structure and layout of the house changes as you make your way through various sections. Even walking through a hallway or door and then turning can open up a completely new area of set of doors. I love this about the game, as you're never quite sure what's going to be around the corner and what's going to jump out on you. The house is full of warped mirrors, paintings that change form, and creepy dolls. As the game progresses, things become even more intense and disturbing, making you feel like you're falling down some kind of twisted rabbit hole. Layers of Fear also seems to have drawn inspiration from games like Gone Home, as you pick up objects and notes scattered throughout the house, which give you more depth and backstory about the protagonist and the events that have taken place. It's important to note that there is no combat in this game, and it mainly involves you walking, finding pathways to the next area, pulling levers and opening doors. The slow pace of the game works really well and helps to elevate and exaggerate the more intense and scary moments. One of the key parts of the game is puzzle solving, which varies in difficulty. Considering the environment is ever shifting, I never felt like I didn't know where I was going, and the game does a good job of guiding you through without you even realising. The puzzles are often solved by exploring drawers and the world around you for clues, which I really enjoyed. Layers of Fear relies on jump scares to keep you on your toes, and almost feels like you're wandering through a haunted house or walking through an abandoned ghost train. It also feels like many classic horror films with slamming doors, tricks of lighting, and creepy dolls. One of the simplest yet unsettling ideas was the paintings that change and reveal sinister and horrific depictions, and even at times objects falling out of them. Although jump scares may feel cliched and familiar, they still manage to keep me engaged and genuinely entertained throughout. I don't want to spoil too much about the events that unfold, but I will say there are imposing supernatural elements and beings that can feel extremely haunting. The game does take some trial and error, and often sees you trying to find the right path to progress further in the game. An interesting feature is that you don't have to fully explore an area before leaving it, and I wouldn't be surprised if a door slams behind you, meaning you cannot return to that area. I would highly suggest exploring thoroughly if you wish to learn more about the backstory and more depth to the lore. The controls in the game are simple and easy to use, which I appreciate in this type of game. I like to feel fully immersed and involved in the world I'm experiencing, and not having to think too much about the controls help me keep immersed. I did find the walking a bit slow and clumsy, and opening drawers and doors can feel a bit awkward. The thing that impressed me most about this game was the setting and decent graphics. The house generally feels realistic and often felt extremely unsettling. I tried running the game on max settings, but the frame rate would dip, so I simply turned down a couple of settings and it ran fine. The game is all about creating an immersive experience that makes you feel involved and has a fantastically rich and interesting environment to explore. The tone and atmosphere of the world is truly where the game shines and works best. The clever use of changing environments, good graphics and disturbing sound design help to create an impressive world. The game has no HUD or inventory menus to help keep the overall appearance look sleek and immersive. It's clear that the game has been influenced by other games like PT, but that's not a bad thing. Overall, I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Layers of Fear. It's a haunting game that sees you exploring the ever-changing environments that make you feel as though you are spiralling into an increasingly disturbing world. The game uses familiar and cliched jump scares, but it actually works well and genuinely kept my adrenaline pumping. The design, tone and environmental storytelling is fantastic, and I would therefore recommend this game if you like games like PT and other first-person walking simulator style horror games.